Do you remember Madness Combat? Ah, yes. The John Wick before John Wick. Madness Combat arrived at a time where Adobe Flash Player was necessary to play those fun Newground games. Back to a time when YouTube was a lot more simple. When I was only 13 years old, I discovered Madness Combat, and it blew my tiny mind. However, at the time, I had no idea that Madness Combat spans a 20-year legacy starting in 2002. Now keep in mind, I got this information of IMDb, so that's my source. To understand Madness Combat, we must go back to where it all started. A simple dance party. Madness Combat 1 came out in 2002. This simple dance party broke out into violence after a disagreement with the music choice. A fight breaks out, then bullets fly, Jesus shows up, and creates fucking zombies all within the span of 2 minutes. Our nameless character didn't like the music, so he had to proceed to take on Jesus Christ. You find out at the end, he had no problem with the music, he just wanted to dance alone. This is our first introduction to our hero. He enjoys killing and loves chaos. You would have never pictured that this simple story was about to get complicated already. Just you fucking wait. Next, in 2003, Madness Combat 2 came out, and it was titled Redeemer. Then it would begin the long-living trend of opening Madness Combat videos with Somewhere in Nevada. This is where Madness Combat really capitalizes on the madness part. Our hero is seeking out a sheriff as he has a bone to pick with him. Already you can tell that our hero is on a different level. Our hero is wanted by this sheriff. Can't you tell by the striking resemblance? The scenarios they throw at this guy are so wacky, but absolutely beautiful. You can't help but have a good time watching. The man in the hat is established as his enemy, as Jesus, the bad guy, is sneaking up on him. Jesus quickly ends our hero. I've never seen Jesus push someone so far away from Christianity. Released in 2003, Madness Combat 3, titled Avenger. Our hero is back, and he is a changed man now. He wears head bandages. Out of fear, the sheriff decides to use one of the most important tools in all of Madness Combat lore, named the Improbability Drive. Then the true madness begins. They release the most scary character in all of Madness Combat. Our hero's Joker to his Batman, Tricky the Clown. The Improbability Drive really messes with the entire world and proves to be a challenge for our hero. After our hero disposes of the clown, Jesus returns to bring back all the zombies again. In the end, our hero did complete his mission, but at what cost? He defeated Jesus, the clown, and the sheriff, but at the cost of his own life. Until he came back in Madness Combat 4, Apotheosis, released in 2004. It had one of the best 2000s intros of all time, and I'm not even disappointed.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby!
Then it is revealed that our protagonist's name is Hank J. Wimbleton. Hank is back, and for revenge. Something my colleagues and I noticed while watching Madness Combat 4. Cinematography has improved impeccably. It feels like you're watching a movie at this point. Hank takes no prisoners. Hank encounters his zombie nemesis, Tricky. Jesus walks into the room, and I shit you not, turns up the ownage meter to 100%. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. Hank and him face each other, but then perish together. The clown wins this time. Until Hank returns in Minecraft? Until Hank returns in Madness Combat 5, Depredation, released in 2005. He's received a full redesign to match his cold, aggressive heart. The intros just keep getting better and better. It feels like we're watching an actual movie series at this point. Jesus is starting to look just as fucked up as Hank. Hank and Jesus have one of the most epic face-offs in this series yet, until the clown becomes enraged and fucking kills Jesus. And then he directs that full rage toward Hank. Killing him permanently. Next, we're going to watch MC 5.5, which came out in 2009. Not all of the MCs were released in chronological order. It opens with the two gentlemen who showed up to help Hank by giving him a weapon, then driving off until a building falls on them. As these two fight through a building that just fell on them, we notice posters warning of these high-ranking soldiers. We thank MC for these little lore droppings. As these two new side protagonists keep fighting, they have caught the interest of the clown that killed Hank and Jesus. The Improbability Drive is shattering the world around them. As MC 5.5 ends on a cliffhanger, will our new heroes die by this shot? Probably not. Now we move on to Madness Combat 6, called Antipathy, released in 2006. It is revealed that Hank was denied death by some being as he is thrusted back into his body to finish what he has started. He was given a message from T, presumably Tricky, to do what comes natural. Perhaps Tricky has revived Hank. You can tell throughout the series that Hank has gotten faster and stronger. He wastes no time playing with his victims. Right as Hank finally reaches the Improbability Drive to shut it down, Hank then comes across a note that says, "Very good. Now catch me if you can, sucker," from T. Hank is thrusted away by the clown. After Hank and the clown fight some more, it is revealed that Jesus is still alive. The clown disarms Hank and then hands him a weapon. At this point, it may seem that the clown just wants Hank to fight. The clown kills Hank and then revives him to fight. The clown only wants endless violence. We see posters in the background saying "Enlist or Die." You can see it's by the Agency Against Hank Wimbleton. I'm not joking. That is the name. The clown then ascends to a new form, evolving, and it ends on a face-off between Hank and the clown. Back to the dynamic duo in MC 6.5, released in 2010. I found out through some lore reading that these two are named Sanford and Deimos. We find out that his friend was shot by the soldier from the previous .5 episode. He struggles to make it through while his friend fights to protect him. These two are quickly becoming my favorite. We see how Jesus was brought back. He walks in and puts his head back on, then leaves. Wow, very cool of you, Jesus. We then see the mastermind behind it all. For now, we shall call him the viewer. But that was until I learned his name was actually the Auditor. The sys monitor is running, showing the stats for the clown, Jesus, and Hank, tracking them all somehow. It's also revealed that the clown's name is Tricky at this point. As well, someone got an upgrade. I must say, the action in this series just keeps getting better and better. It's kind of cool that we get to see these two gain identities as they fight through. As they fight together to escape the facility, the episodes end with Deimos and Sanford escaping to safety. And we're only halfway through the madness. We return to MC7, called Consternation, released in 2007. I'm noticing a trend here. We continue to where the last one left off. The great fight between Hank and Tricky. Hank is losing badly, and there appears to be no hope. Until a light comes down from the sky and completely heals Hank. It was most likely Tricky, as Tricky just wants to fight. Hank begins to try to escape Tricky. During the fight, we find out that the portable Improbability Drive is inside of Tricky. Hank is no longer holding back, literally ripping pieces off of people. We find a poster on the wall that shows the motives of the villain. I believe at this point, it's safe to say Hank is meant to suffer endlessly. At least that's what it seems like. Jesus returns to finish off Hank. Then it's between Jesus and Tricky, and Jesus quickly ends that fight. Then we see the Auditor turn up the oh shit meter, and then it ends. Back to our dynamic duo in MC 7.5, released in 2011. Our two heroes are infiltrating a base, much like classic MC. They seem to be infiltrating an upgrading facility. The combat and brutality is at its height here. Not much else happens in this episode, but then they receive a message that Hank has been terminated, and it fades to black. Madness Combat 8 is called Inundation, and was released in 2008. There's a cold open to Jesus taking out people with the sniper. Instead of following Hank, we follow Jesus, who is against this mysterious organization now. You can tell that Jesus has his own fighting style, and that's apparent from watching his combat. Now the Auditor has somehow uploaded an infection into Jesus. I could watch Jesus waste faceless bad guys all day long. The Auditor has had enough and takes matters into his own hands. Remember everyone, this is somewhere in Nevada. Jesus and the Auditor have their first confrontation as Jesus dodges all the bullets from the Auditor's minigun. Now they fight, and it's an evenly matched fight between these two magical beings. By the end of the fight, they ruin the Improbability Drive. A normal restoration process begins. However, something happened, and then there were none. Now, I have something different here for you. Instead of a 0.5 episode, we get something strange. An episode called An Experiment that came out in 2020. We open to a test subject being harassed by armed guards. The subject puts both of his hands into a box, and this happens. Then he is turned into something even more terrifying. Then it's revealed that our dynamic duo were sitting outside the compound spying on it. We're back to whole numbers now. Madness Combat 9 was released in 2009. We're back with our dynamic duo, and Hank is still dead. Our dynamic duo is being pursued. They handled the pursuit without a problem. Our duo learns that the normal restoration has started. That's when they see the explosion that hit Jesus in Madness Combat 8. The duo retrieves Hank's lifeless corpse. The Auditor has killed Jesus and stolen his halo, and has become the ultimate threat. The Auditor is sending supernatural forces after the duo. Once the duo is separated, our man in the hat throws Hank into a tube and sacrifices his own life. It's then revealed that Hank has mutated and he has a monster arm now. He then goes to take on the Auditor alone. The last one in our dynamic duo is facing off with Hank against the Auditor. This is Madness Combat 9.5. We start off with Hank in hell, showing what happened to him while he was in the cylinder, recovering. Hank breaks through and gains sentience. Then he does what he does best. Now that he's in hell, his greatest enemy returns. Tricky is back. Tricky wants revenge on Hank. This episode really shows how awesome the combat can get in this series. Hank is struggling with retaining his ego as he fights through horde after horde of enemies. Tricky and Hank must face off. We're shown a mysterious figure tracking Hank's progress in the normal world. Hank is then given the message he received from Tricky that long day ago. Do what comes natural. Hank is being told continuously to kill. At this point, I don't think he knows how to do anything but kill. If you notice throughout the episode, we're dealing with two versions of Hank. These two versions of Hank finally collide. Hank is battling himself until it's shown the zombie Hank is shown being revived. What does this mean? Perhaps the true Hank is still in hell. Who knows? I sure don't. I'm just mostly guessing. On to the next one. We're on to Madness Combat number 10, Abrogation, released in 2011. Somewhere in Nevada, we're seen with Demon Hank and Sanford fighting the evil Auditor. The fight scene breaks out into an epic standoff where Sanford takes on ads while Hank faces the Auditor. In true boss fight fashion, the Auditor sets the stage. Hank and Sanford are working together to survive to take down the Auditor. The Auditor is becoming unstable. Hank obliterates the path to the Auditor, and then the Auditor faces off with them for a final time. The Auditor begins to absorb dead bodies and grow stronger and stronger until he absorbs Tricky, the clown. The Auditor explodes, and the episode ends there. Now we approach the final episode, which came out in 2019. If you've made it this far into the video, please give it a like and think about subscribing for quality content like this. Expurgation opens with blood raining everywhere. Demons are breaking through the barrier. Reality is shattering somewhere in Nevada. Hank and Sanford face off against demons. Then Hank goes up against his mortal enemy, Tricky, the demon clown. Tricky is destroying Hank. Sanford gets pulled into hell as Hank follows. The Auditor returns to fight Hank because, you know, now that they're in hell, why not? Sanford is separated from Hank, trying to survive on his own. Sanford now faces a version of Tricky, or should I say versions? Not virgin, versions. Sanford is struggling against Tricky. Hank comes to save the day. Hank is the ultimate badass now and has no problem taking care of Tricky. Then they reveal, or I just noticed, that they're fighting for Jesus's halo, the ultimate power. Because as you know, if you get to have Jesus's halo, it gives you ascended power. The world's code reforms and gives Hank violence, quite literally. It ends with the world normality restoration complete, and the Auditor with Jesus's halo, granting him unimaginable power, leaving Hank and Sanford stranded in hell. Is this the ending to Madness Combat after its 20-year run? Guys, while I was editing this video, something truly special happened. Crinkles, the one that the legends speak of, has decided to drop a brand new Madness Combat video while I've been working on this one.
Alright, let's do this one last time.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Madness Combat 12, Contravention. What? There's too many fancy names. It's Contravention. This was released on September 24th, 2024. It fills my heart with joy to know that this series is still running so strong to this day. I'm gonna ask the audience here to buckle in, because you might get a lot more questions than answers with this episode, but you will get some answers. We open with an update on the Improbability Drive. It would seem that it created a place that was never meant to be. Sounds like that scary ass Willy Wonka experience. This place is actually in Nevada, if you couldn't have guessed already. We see Sanford getting lost in this other realm, falling deeper into the madness. Then Sanford does the only thing he knows: he survives. Meanwhile, we see another mysterious figure on the outside of this realm, near its portal, and it would seem he's trying to track Hank down, our yummy little boy Hank. And then we got some strange commands, saying Hank's character is revoked, and his new character is supposed to fix Nevada? The real question is the Auditor doing this now, or is this the other mysterious figure?
Who are you?
However, we do know that the Auditor is the one who sent Sanford to the other realm, as he doesn't want Sanford to interfere with his plans. Sanford is truly fighting for his life here, but something strange is happening to Sanford. Even his hands are shaking now. What could be happening to Sanford? They're trying to anchor and replace him? My brother in Christ is having the stroke of his life. No, not that kind of stroke. Sanford fights off his reprogramming for now, but now the Auditor himself is here to take Sanford down. As Sanford has another aneurysm, something is trying to rewrite his directive. Then we see a car with another mysterious figure inside. So many mysterious figures, because this mysterious figure is being contacted by the previous mysterious figure. This figure is uploading a recovery protocol to the tablet. I wonder what that could mean. A way to recover the Improbability Drive? Maybe they're trying to reset it, or maybe they're not trying to recover something, but someone. He does admit that Hank is indeed missing, and then they light a cigarette with their hand, which is pretty badass. Now we're back with Sanford, and things are not looking too good for him. Sanford seems to be about done, for he's about to be ripped in half. And then he receives another message after having his eyes gouged out. The message was, kill them. And that is all Sanford needed to hear. We see now that Sanford gets anchored, and his location has been found. Once that happens, it would seem another mysterious force has helped Sanford against the Auditor. Then Sanford has been ouched by a button showing something about needing to kill the one known as Doc. Are these the Auditor's orders or something else? Later on, it's revealed the one that was driving the car is the one and only Deimos. Deimos is alive, and he's working with that mysterious figure who I can only assume is the one called Doc.
I am the sergeant!
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
We then learn that it was the Doc who anchored Sanford to bring Sanford back to the realm of Nevada. Unfortunately, Doc cannot find Hank yet, but they did find Sanford, and now that he's anchored, they can bring him back from that hellish realm. Now that Deimos and Sanford are back, there is hope. Perhaps they can find a way to resurrect Hank after bringing back Sanford. And then, episode 12 ends on a major cliffhanger. Now I ask, is this the end? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more, as I feel like we're in the middle of the ending of the story. We still need to see if Hank comes back. But it could be the end. I'm not the one who can answer that question. This show quite literally made my childhood, so thank you, Crinkles. I had no idea that Madness Combat was still being produced until I decided to make a video about it and its lore. Crinkles is actually still pretty active. He even made a 5-part series about the other dynamic duo partner, Deimos, and about his journey into hell. After doing some pretty good research, I found out that they actually made a game called Madness Project Nexus that came out last year. Perhaps I need to give that a try. I cannot believe how crazy this series is. Look how it started. At a dance party. A fucking dance party. And look where we're at now. Crinkles, we need our next installment. What happens? We need to know. But seriously, thank you. Everyone here, you should go watch all of Madness Combat yourself to truly appreciate the combat, because that is the highlight of his series. I know this wasn't my typical video, but let me know what you thought and if you'd like to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, gamers. There we go. There's your fucking voiceover. Fuck you.